you used to be the only one to get it right. But anyways, my question is to the Minister of Rural Affairs. Minister, since being elected, I've continually heard from my rural municipal leaders about the challenges with the unpredictable and declining Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund. This year, my upper and lower tier municipalities will see a 20% cut in their OMPF funding for the upcoming year, money that could go to critical infrastructure projects. Minister, I find it interesting that the government website states the 2015 OMPF funding has been designed to increase targeted support to those municipalities with the most challenging fiscal circumstances. Minister, Southold in my riding has lost over 50% of their tax base when Ford closed, and as a result, the local councils announced taxes will rise by 45% over the next 3 years. However, their OMPF funding was also cut 20%. Minister, how do you define challenging fiscal circumstances, and is it your plan to balance the budget on the backs of rural municipalities?
Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, this is an interesting question. It's interesting from the perspective of the party who downloaded, who had an exercise called Who Does What, that became the Who Got Done In exercise. Municipalities got done in. That's the history of the party opposite. That's true. Now let me. Who done it? Now let me continue, Mr. Speaker. Through extensive consultation with ROBA, the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, the Ontario Municipal Association, we've gone to a formula now, $50 million, that provides a set amount every year to municipalities right across the province of Ontario. This is something that municipalities ask for. This is something that we deliver for municipalities. It makes sense. It's a good program and addresses critical infrastructure needs for municipalities right across Ontario.
Thank you.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. Minister, you're talking about policies and decisions made over 15 years ago, and since then you've done nothing to correct them. Minister, it's reflected in the election. We are the voice of rural Ontario on this side of the House. You've got to start listening. Minister, your government's mismanaged taxpayers' money for over a decade, and rural municipalities and their residents are paying for it. Under your government, my riding has lost over 6,000 manufacturing jobs and an enormous amount of tax base from municipalities, yet your government continues to cut the OMPF funding. My rural municipalities do not receive any of the gas tax money, but would like access to in order to deal with their enormous infrastructure deficits. Rural municipalities in my riding would like to see a 3 to 5 year projection of their individual OMPF funding allocations so they can prepare their budgets accordingly.
Question.
Minister, you're either not standing up for rural Ontario in Cabinet or you're being completely ignored. Which is it?
No. Thank you. Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me tell you, back in 2008, the then Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the wonderful Mayor of Ottawa, Jim Watson, negotiated an unprecedented deal for uploading the services right across Ontario. The services that this party downloaded during their time in government effectively crippled municipal finances right across the province of Ontario.
And no respect for them.
The member from Lanark, Frontenac,
Mr. Speaker,
Lennox Island,
our
and come
government
to order.
has listened to municipalities through the 2015 program. We'll continue to recognize the challenges of northern and rural municipalities, better target those with challenging fiscal circumstances. That's why this year the province will be providing $515 million to 388 municipalities across this province. Our government has a record of helping municipalities right across in comparison to the dismal record of the province of Ontario.
Sit down, please. The member for Lanark, Frontenac.